What's poppin', homies? It's your favorite homegirl gospel. Let's get into this commentary. Hey, homies. So today I want to talk to you about Washington okays the first statewide missing indigenous people alert. Now, I don't like to say indigenous. For some reason, it just sounds wrong. I know that's a term that they use. I would prefer to use Native American, but if anybody out there that's Native American, what would you like to be addressed as? I have to ask. Okay, so here goes. Here's the article. Washington governor has signed into a bill that creates a first in the nation statewide alert system for missing Native American people, which I think is good because when you go online and you search missing Native American women, you will see how many people are missing, but you don't hear it on the mainstream news. They don't post up. They don't say this person is missing, that person is missing. They don't do that. They don't do that. They don't do that. You don't hear it. Shit, you barely hear about a African American person missing. Okay? But you find a lot of their cases and women that are missing online. But that needs to stop. It needs to be online. It needs to be on national news, mainstream media. It needs to be everywhere so that people will know this person is missing. And it's a shame that missing people, for you to be missing and to be on national news, sorry, race it plays a big part of it. And we know that. We know that. I'm not going to get deep into that, but we know that. Okay? Gabby Petito, when she went missing, it was everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. Everyone was talking about it. But at the same time, because everybody was talking about it, they was like, okay, well, since she's missing, where's so-and-so? People names kept popping up. And then they'll find out, okay, we want to go search for this, what happened? We found this, we found that. But it took for her to be out there for people to really look into other missing people. And it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be that way. The law creates a system similar to Amber Alerts and is so-called Silver Alerts, which are used respectively for missing children and vulnerable adults in many states. Now, I know the Silver Alert is for, I think, older adults, like senior citizens. Like when they go missing, they put out a Silver Alert. The system will notify law enforcement when there's a report of a missing Native American person. It also places messages on highway reader boards and on the radio and social media, and will provide information to the news media. Good. The law attempts to address a crisis of missing Native Americans, particularly women, in Washington and across the United States. While it includes missing men, women, and children, a summary of public testimony on the legislation notes that the crisis began as a women's issue and remains primarily as a woman's issue. Yeah, because I do read about it's 9 times out of 10, a lot of Native American women do go missing a lot. A lot. Now, a 2021 report by a government watchdog found the true number of missing and murdered Native American women in the United States is unknown due to reporting problems, distrust of law enforcement, and jurisdictional conflicts. But Native American women face murder rates almost 3 times those of white women overall, and up to 10 times the national average in certain locations, according to a 2021 summary of the existing research by the National Congress of American Indians. More than 80% have experienced violence. In Washington, more than 4 times as many Native American women go missing than white women, according to research conducted by the Urban Indian Health Institute in Seattle. But many such cases receive little or no media attention, and that is the problem. They don't get any media attention. They don't get nothing. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing as well, now that they have this alert going, I need to do better myself as a channel of reporting missing people. I need to report more of Native American women being reported missing because they're not getting any coverage. They're not getting any coverage. And I do try to post everyone, but sometimes I don't even get any news about it. I have to go search for it. So now I'm going to make it my business and my priority to say, hey, it's not just Black people missing. Native Americans, I have to put them up there as well and hope that maybe somebody will see, okay, this is not a game. Because when you do your research and you look, you will see a lot of Native American women go missing, but no one talks about it. And I'm going to start talking about it because it needs to be said. I'm going to start talking about it. So anybody that's out there, if you got, any information of someone that's missing and you want to get out there, please send it to my email and I'll make sure I will put it part as my missing reports when I do it. And I'm going to also do more research to see how many women went missing, who was missing, and get their names out there. We got to start talking about this because they don't get any coverage, any at all. I just read it to you guys, and it's a known fact. An alert system will help some problems surrounding investigations of missing Native Americans by allowing better communication between tribal, local, and state law enforcement and creating a way for law enforcement to flag such cases for other agencies. Now, the law also expands the definition of missing endangered person to include African Americans, as well as children and vulnerable adults with disabilities or memory or cognitive issues. The measure is the latest step the state has taken to address the issue. The Washington State Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and People Task Force is working to coordinate a statewide response and had its first meeting in December. Its first report is expected in August. Many states, from Arizona to Oregon to Wisconsin, have taken recent action to address the crisis of murdered and missing Native American women. Efforts include funding for better resources for the tribal police, to the creation of new databases specifically targeting missing tribal members. Tribal police agencies that use Amber Alerts for missing Native American children include the Hopi and Las Vegas. Excuse me. Give me a second. Oh, sorry about that. I got overheated. Okay, where was I at? Okay, so basically what they're going to be doing, and which I think is a great thing, it is a good thing that they are finally starting to realize. They've been realized this, but they wasn't doing much about it. So now they're about to start a Amber Alert. Well, it's like an Amber Alert, but it's for missing Native Americans, which I think is great. They need coverage. When the women go missing, they need coverage. They get less than what African American would get. You think we get low coverage? They get none, and that's bad, and that's really bad. So what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start doing more research on this and make sure that I am locked into, blogs that reports Native American women missing, and try to put it on my channel more because they're human. We are all human. It's a shame that we don't get talked about a lot. They need to know, where is this person? People need to look out for them as well. Okay? Shit, I don't even find out about African American people that go missing until like maybe a month or so after they went missing. And I find that out on the news online. Because it's not talked about. It's not national. It's not everywhere. It's not everywhere. And everybody needs to be treated like it's an emergency, not just for one race, for everybody. Because we are somebody's loved one. They need to know what happened to us. Put it out there. Put flyers out. Somebody had to see something. So it's just, I'm glad this is happening. I'm really glad this is happening for Native Americans. This needs to happen. Because when you go looking and you go see who's missing and you go do your research, you're like, oh my God. And none of it has ever came on television, on the news. By the time you get it from off social media, they've been missing for what, 6 months, almost a year? And that's not right. So I'm glad this is happening. So what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys later.